Hey guys, today we're going to talk about percent of a number. All right, so just let's think about what you already know about percents. 100%. If you buy a pizza and I eat 100% of that pizza, how much did I eat? Yes, I ate all of your pizza. So you kind of understand that idea of 100% being whole. If I ate 50% of your pizza, how much did I eat? Yes, you're right, it's half, but I ate part of your pizza. So that's kind of what we're going to have to process through as we do this. We are going to learn about percent of a number using proportions. So just like two ratios where there's a top, a numerator, and a denominator, we're going to have those four numbers, but one of them will always be the same. 100. So if you look at your notes here, it says percent means, and it means out of 100. Did you know that's what percent means? Out of 100. So the ratio or the proportion that we're going to use is this that's in a box here that says percent over 100 part over whole. Now, this 100 will always be. There's four numbers here: something over 100, something over something. And the 100 will always be there. So whenever you see these percent problems, you can always start with 100. Now, the percent, because percent means out of 100, will always be over the 100. So you don't even really have to think about it. 100 is 100, and the percent will be over it. If you're looking for the percent will be X or a variable, whatever you're looking for. Now, what you have to consider is what is the part and what is the whole. And most of the time it'll be pretty obvious because the part will always be less than the whole. So let's kind of process through. And I don't want you to be intimidated. There's some bigger numbers here, but just so you know, um, most of the time the numbers won't be quite as big. And I'm also going to talk to you about this idea of is and of, and how that is one way to interpret what is the part and what is the whole. But let's just go ahead and work through it. I think it'll make more sense as we go through there. It says here the 100 never changes. Like I said, there will always be a 100 as the denominator on one of the ratios. It doesn't matter which one you pick. And then we're going to fill in the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 100 right here. In fact, just so you can see, I'll go ahead and put 100 all the way across. Now, I could put the 100 on the right side also, but for sure it needs to be as the denominator. So now I'm going to look at these three problems and I'm going to look and go, did they give me the percent on any of them? The first one says 30%, so I'm going to put it over 100. The second one says 20%, so I'm going to put it over 100. The third one says, what is the percent? So we don't even know what the percent is on this one. So I'm going to put an X. I'm going to put an X over it. What is the percent? I don't know. So I'll put an X over the 100 because the percent will always go over the 100. And if you don't know what the percent is, then that's where the X will go. Now, find 30% of 80. Now, so the question is the 80 the part or is the 80 the whole? Now, there's not a whole lot of information in these three examples, and I'm going to tell you that when we start working these out, there'll be a lot more information on most of the time. But when you see of, if you look up here, of is a whole. So it wants to know 30% of the whole 80. So the whole goes on the bottom. So I'm looking for the part because they gave me the percent. They gave me the whole. So I must be looking for the part. Now, if I look at this, I could cross multiply and divide, but let me just show you some cool little tricks that you can do. First off, if you have a numerator and a denominator and they both have zeros behind them, and you want some smaller numbers, we can just cross out the 2 zeros. It's kind of like simplifying the fraction. So now I have 3 times 80, which is, well, first off, let's look at the fractions. 10 times x, 10x, 3 times 80. Now again, I'm going to kind of share some tricks. Some of you know these tricks. Some of you have heard me talk about them before. What's 3 times 8? 24. And then we have the 0 here, so let's just add the 0. All right. Now I have a one-step equation. Let's divide so we can solve for x. Divide by 10. Divide by 10. All right. Now I want you to look at this division problem. 240 divided by 10. They both end in 0, so you can just cross them out. And I bet almost everybody here can divide 24 by 1. 24 divided by 1 is 24. So 30% of 80 is 24. All right, let's go to the next one. If you get nothing else out of these notes, I hope you get where to place the numbers. So the next one, number 2, says 10 is 20% of what number? So the is we have, the is 10. Of, we don't know, so I'm going to put an X here. All right, let's look at these numbers. Now I could do a lot. I'm going to go ahead and do some simplifying right off the bat, because whenever you have fractions that are bigger numbers, and we've been dealing with a lot of that, if you can simplify them, go ahead and do it. Now I could cross multiply and divide just like they are, but I just want to show you some cool stuff. You don't always have to do this, so if you don't remember, don't worry about it. But do you see the 20 over the 100? They both end in 0. So I could cross out those two. It's the same as dividing the top and bottom by 10. These numbers are now a lot smaller. So let's see what we have here. 2 times x is 2x. 10 times 10 is 100. Now I'm going to solve for x, and you might even know the answer to this without even trying. What is 100 divided by 2? That's right, it's 50. The question says 10 is 20% of what number? 10 is 20% of 50. Let's do another one. What percent of 75 that tells me it's the whole, is 15? That is the part. Now we don't always have the is and the of, but it's super nice when we do. And so it helps us with placement. But a lot of times you're going to just have to think about, is this the part or is this the whole? If it's the whole, you will put it as the denominator. If it is the part, you're going to put it as the numerator. So it takes a little bit more thinking. But just so you know, words like is and of kind of help you out with the part and the whole. Now, again, these numbers don't look super friendly, but I'm going to go ahead and multiply them. So I have 75x, and then 100 times 15. So just let you know, if you're multiplying something by 100 or 10 or anything with a bunch of numbers, I can just do 15 times 1 and then add the 2 zeros. Now, if you didn't catch what I just did, don't worry about it. You could always just work it out on the side. You will get the same number. All right, now division. I'm solving for x, so I'm going to divide both sides by 75. And so just you would probably have to work this out on your own, but 1,500 divided by 75 is 20. So I'm not done yet because it's asking me for a percent. So it is super important that I put the percent sign on there, because 20 and 20% are two different numbers. Think about it. If I ate 20% of a pizza, or if I ate 20 pizzas, that's a big difference. So just make sure if it's a percent that you add a percent sign, because otherwise your answer really is not correct. All right. Good luck with that. You're going to be practicing it some. Use these notes, ask questions, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.